Let's talk about the histology of cells. Now, before talking about the histology of the cell, I'm going to talk about the histology of the liver because it is one of the greatest organ with greatest functionality that we are all missing out on. Since our heart is one of the important thing in our body, so is our liver. Liver is one of the most or not the most best or the most useful organ in humans. So that makes us think, how does liver work? So it is larger on one side and smaller on another. That's one characteristic feature of that. Now your liver is not dark red, it is faintish red. That's why it gets its iconic color. It has large capacity of regeneration. Although the regeneration is very high, a part of the liver is supposed to be inside the body to regenerate. And you might think that if it could be regenerated again and again, we just transplant our liver again and again, and it would be infinite money, right? It does not work like that. Let me tell you, my dear. It works like it has the blueprint, right? So it will form the liver, but the shape will not be the same. The first time the liver regrows, it will have minor imperfection in them, and that imperfection will grow gradually. That's the thing. So this is what happens there. The imperfection, the groups and everything will gradually deepens, and the shape of the liver will start to change, and so does the amount of the cells in it, and so will its function. So that's the thing. Now inside the liver, whenever we are talking, it is dealing with detoxifying. That's the biggest term that I could use. Also, they are producer of the blood inside infants. In our body, blood is produced through bone marrow. That's the right case to be studied, right? Our blood, human blood, is produced due to bone marrow. Inside the bone marrow, inside the bones, right? But in infants, liver does the work of producing blood. That's pretty crazy. It has the function of producing even blood. Now, after that, what comes? The liver has a function of detoxifying. I mean, if you start to eat a lot of sugar, you drank high caffeinated and highly sugar-fried drink. Now, you should not worry because your liver is there. It is there for checking. It will see what is there. It sees that the large amount of sugar is present. Okay, now it will turn that large amount of sugar into glucose, and that glucose would be stored. That glycogen would be stored. So that's the thing. It converts sugar into glycogen, storable material. You have seen storable material, right? They are in the adipose tissue. So liver does that thing. It stores food, and when it is first, its work is to transpose and transverse or translate it. It has the function of changing the sugary material, that is glucose, into glucose. It has the capacity of doing that. Now after that conversion, if the glycogen is getting high, it will be stored in our body. It is there for the conversion of starch, like in potatoes and many things. The roots are always having a starch within them. And now since we are talking about here, so it's the function of the liver. But livers can also fail. How does that so? Because if you had too much alcohol, a little too much, so at the start liver will detoxify, but at some point the quantity would be so large for it that it just fails, and its cells cannot keep up with that. The hepatic cell cannot keep up with the insulin and everything in the alcohol, thus it fails, and various loss of imperfection occur there. And liver are also used for the gastric glands in our body, so the release of the bile into the intestine also works in that manner. Thank you.